What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Succession Season 4. Yes, HBO's flagship drama is back for the fourth and final season. They recently dropped the bomb on us. Jesse Armstrong, the showrunner, the creator, letting us know that Season 4 is in fact the final season. Honestly, really exciting the way they kind of slow played that with confirming that. Very exciting. So now this is the final season, and I couldn't be more pleased with how season 4 has begun with the premiere titled The Munsters. I think we're just in for a real treat because I think Succession has demonstrated, HBO, uh, Jesse Armstrong, this writing team, they've demonstrated that this is one of the best shows in recent memory. And there's no reason to have anything but the utmost faith that they're going to absolutely nail this and we're going to love what they do. Season 3 ended in such amazing fashion with the siblings coming together to take down Logan and getting foiled by Logan. Once again, Tom betraying Shiv and the Roy siblings in the process. So satisfying at the end of 2021. So now we're finally back. And, season 4 just picking up right where we left off, I think, in a really tantalizing fashion, right? Because Succession through 3 seasons has not been about the siblings being together. The siblings have always been apart, and that was their way to curry favor with Dad, curry favor with Logan, right? Was to, uh, stab the others in the back to try and become the number one boy or girl, and it never worked, right? Logan always won. What did Tom say at the end of season 3? I've never seen Logan get fucked once. Well, in season 4, perhaps we did just witness Logan getting fucked, right? Because the siblings are more powerful and more competent when they're all teamed up. And I think that's a really tantalizing prospect. Now we know Succession will not be smooth sailing through the end of season 4. We know things are going to happen, things are going to go bad. It's a very fluid show in terms of how things work. But it's really fun to have them be like seemingly true adversaries, at least in a certain sense, to Logan at the start of this season. I think that's really cool. Um, Also, I think I love how they kind of established kind of early conflict, perhaps, where Roman is like genuinely interested in starting a business, whereas it seems Kendall and Shiv are much more motivated by sticking it to Logan, sticking it to Dad, and having that personal vendetta. So that surely will come back up later. Um, you know, from there we get uh, the siblings. The way they fuck Logan, of course, is by going over the top with their bid to buy Pierce, buy that the rival media entity, and going up to 10 billion, and just really blowing the Logan Waystar bid out of the water. Um, that's cool. That's like establishing in terms of plot. Assuming this goes through, we're led to believe that the Waystar sale to Gojo is like days away, like 2 days away, and that's where the siblings are getting their money from when they're going to liquidate their Waystar shares, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I love how the show doesn't make you concerned with like the mumbo jumbo of like how is all the money coming together, who's doing what. Like you never need to worry about that because it's just communicated in like a clear way that you don't actually have to follow like the minutia of that. And it's funny because I think what really always shines about Succession is the writing is just so top notch. Whereas this moment of like true plot, right? The Roy siblings sticking it to Dad in like a meaningful way with getting Pierce to accept their bid. That is actually not as consequential in terms of dramatic stakes as some of the other stuff in the episode, right? I mean, at the uh, Logan birthday party scene, section of the episode, Logan eventually leaves and goes to a quiet diner with his bodyguard and confides in his bodyguard that he's like his best man, his best mate, because everyone around him at the party is a sycophant, a hanger on, a yes man, etc., etc. And he's saying this to his bodyguard, who is only there because he's being paid to be there, right? And that lucidity, and true introspection from Logan, I think, is really refreshing, as he seems to be quite aware of coming at the end of the line and not believing in afterlife and things like that. It's all really tantalizing. Um, and then in the other big scene, of course, would be back in New York. Shiv and Tom meet at their place and talk about their failed marriage. They've taken uh, time apart since they obviously were on different sides of the battle lines as season 3 ended. And it's kind of interesting to see them both come to the realization that neither one will ever find someone else that can understand why they're so fucking damaged together and why their marriage is like so fucked, and how what Logan has done to both of them and things like that, and how they're gonna quote give it a go, give it another go. It's got it. It's an emotionally rich scene, and like Tom, Michael McFadden, winning the Emmy for season 3, justly earned. He was amazing. Um, in a show of amazing performers. But like this is a great episode for why he's so worthy of awards consideration for Succession, because he gives you all the amazing comedy and line readings when he's talking to Greg earlier at the party, and you have like the true emotion and deep sadness that is him in his failed marriage and how he feels about his life and what happened to it with Shiv. McFadden is tremendous as usual in this episode. Um, we gotta just think too, like we always say that the writing is so good in Succession. Why is the writing so good? Well, it's like I said, it handles a lot of the financial stuff in a coherent way. That's always great. But the show is also so fucking funny. Still, I think we had two, three like great like all timer like Succession like lines. The throwaway lines half the time, and they're just so good, right? Like early on, the Roy sibling idea that they just completely abandon when they realize they have a chance to fuck over dad and go over the top and steal Pierce from him, right? Their idea is this like new media entity called the 100. And what's the quote? Substack meets Masterclass meets The Economist meets The New Yorker. Just amazing, amazing stuff right there. And such a Kendall thing, honestly. Fits like a glove. Um, everything with uh, Greg and Tom at the party, that was fucking amazing. Them calling each other the disgusting brothers. Oh my god. Uh, Tom dressing down Greg for his date in like the capacious bag she brought. Hilarious. And then when Greg tells Tom about some sexual dalliances he just had with his date in the other room, how does he describe that? He says he had a bit of a rummage, and then quickly after, Tom asks if he rummaged to completion. Had a bit of a rummage is, I think, a Succession all timer, like already. Just an amazing thing in there. Obviously, Greg and Tom give us some of the best lines on the course of the show because they're often such a tremendous source of the comic relief on the show. If it's to be said, so it be, so it is. However, the Greg quote goes, amazing, right? But I think Had a Bit of a Rummage is another one that's just right up there. So fucking good. Um, I really can't wait for the rest of the season. We know Stewie's going to come back. I think he would have to be involved in the Roy siblings getting the rest of the capital needed to buy Pierce and this war and how it goes. And, is Roman going to stick with them? Is he going to crawl back to Logan, et cetera, et cetera? I just can't wait. I have such utmost faith in this creative team, and ultimately, like, assuming this plane gets landed as well as we assume it will be, Jesse Armstrong is up there as like one of the greatest showrunners in like recent memory. And that's high praise considering HBO has been the home of tremendous showrunners lately. Of course, right? Think of David Chase and David Milch and David Simon. Jesse Armstrong. I think he's quickly rising the ranks. You know, he's not a Vince Gilligan yet, but this is for one show what he's accomplished. I think it's incredibly impressive, and I really can't wait to watch this play out. We know we're going to see Alexander Skarsgård again with the Gojo stuff, and the trailers have been very tantalizing without actually revealing much of anything, which is exactly how trailers should be. So I really can't wait. HBO really killing it this year, right? We had The Last of Us become a complete smash, crossing over beyond its video game audience, averaging over 30 million viewers an episode. Tremendous success. That's only been gone a few weeks, and now the number one boy is back with Succession, and soon enough, Barry's final season will be back as well. And it turns out Succession season 4 and Barry season 4, those finales will air on the same Sunday night at the end of May. Like, talk about a wild day for HBO. Can't wait. But let me know, how'd you feel about the Succession season 4 premiere? What are you most looking forward to seeing play out in this final season? And for more TV reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.